Taekwondo is an art of defending oneself by using feet and hands without weapon. It is a popular exercise which helps develop one's physical body in a well-balanced manner and promote one's health. This videotape shows the wonderful strength, high techniques, and noble idea of Taekwondo. Today, let us learn the pattern Ui, and Chungjang that the second degree and above holders are training. First of all, through this screen, you must know about the common sense of Taekwondo contest, the events of Taekwondo contest and testing content. Let us look at them simply. Above all, the pattern contest as the event. The collective pattern contest consists of a selected pattern and two designated patterns, and the personal pattern contest consists of one designated pattern. Through the pattern contests, you can be given marks on the balance and beauty of the movement like the heavy gymnastics as you look at the screen. Then let's look at the sparring contest. Only free sparring is always taken place on the collection in person, man and woman. Through the sparring contest, you can be checked the correctness and speed and so on as the firing technique or archery. The power contest must be held as follows. The collective contest and the man contest requires to break against a pine board, the tile and the piece of brick by the forefist, knife hand, the foot sword, ball of the foot and the back heel. Woman power contest aims to break by foot sword and knife hand. Through this contest, you can be checked the actual power as the boxing contest. Next is the special technique contest. The collective contest and the man contest consist of the events including the flying high kick, flying jumping kick, flying turning kick, and the flying reverse turning kick. And the woman contest requires only the flying jumping kick and flying high kick. Through these contests, you can be checked the various techniques and the special technical levels such as the high jump and long jump of the field and track events. Then let's look at a pattern we arm to learn today. Because the pattern is collection of all fundamental movements, it is continuance of the sparring, breaking, special technique, self-defense technique, and artistic beauty. In sparring, you can exhibit your real power or vice versa according to the opponent. But you can freely exhibit your real power in pattern. Therefore, the pattern is the rule of the training and contest. It is very important to learn the patterns well. New movements of this pattern are as follows.
The moment the two hands is blocked after lifting it on the height of the shoulders to move the back fist backward, the knife hand must be brought to the body's center. At the time of block, the block toes must be in the body's center, and the half body must be kept towards the opponent. The fist and one's eyes must be level with each other. The forearm must be stopped on the height of solar plexus, blocking downward after crossing itself on the height of breast. The crossed toes must be placed about 20 centimeters from the solar plexus. At the moment of block, the whole body must be kept towards the opponent, and the knife hand must be placed in the middle part of forehead. The strike hand must be brought under the chin to turn the back fist upward, and the other hand must strike after lifting it at the height of the shoulders to turn the back fist downward. This technique must be used to attack against the target, drawing the attacking toes a half circle. At the time of punch, the fist must be placed higher than the elbow, and it is about 25 centimeters from one's eyes. At the time of punch, the fist must be put in one's center and must be level with the breast. At the moment of block, the distance between the block toes must be the same as the width of one's shoulders, and the elbow must be hooked about 35 degrees. The block toes must be drawn a large circle to lift the kick foot upward, and then fingertip must be leveled with the height of the block shoulders, and the block shoulders must be a little lower than the other one when blocked. The technique is used to drop the foot of opponent attacking towards the vital spots by pushing the palms downward after lifting it on the height of the shoulders. The block toes must be level with one's scrotum and block hands must be parallel with the thigh. Holding the 2 feet backward at the same time, you must perform the reverse knife hand blocking. At this time, the other side fist must be brought to the opposite shoulder. At the time of guarding block, the 2 hands must be always ready for protecting the whole body.
Let us look at the training for the new movement. Well, let us look at how the movements learned now are linked with the pattern. Remembering that each movement of the pattern must ensure the reaction, concentration, balance, and the breath control speed, the 5 elements of power, you must participate in the training.
When you defend the lower part of the belly, two hands must be shaped like this. You must do like this. In continuous manner. Stand right and do it correctly. The position of feet like this. At the side hitting, the hand is a bit lower than shoulder. Here are the biters. You may think this biter point is in the center only. But every point here in the biters. Like this. You are right.
If you were to perform like this, we can say that you have learned the all patterns of the first degree. The instructors are running to somewhere. How can you follow together? They reached at the waterfall ground. Feeling the natural pleasure, they train. It is good for health, but it is very good for the cultivation of will. You must often take such a chance too. Then let us look at a pattern Chungjang that a second degree holder and above must master. This is the pattern Chungjang. Those techniques are not new movements, but they are applications of learned movements according to the situations. Yes, it is. Indeed, the patterns are rich in the technique and content enough to cope with various situations. Let's look at new movements.
The back fist must be crossed at the height of the breast and placed on the height of eyes, and the other arm must be stretched out side downward at the time of block. At the time of striking, the whole body must be turned towards the target, and the fist must be placed on the height of eyes. This technique for attacking against your opponent's eye is the same as the four-fist punch, but it is different from using the double finger. Forefinger and middle finger must extend, bending slightly from the four-fist, while the thumb must press third knuckle of the ring finger. This technique is used for destroying the attacking posture of opponents, attacking towards the lower part by lifting the opponent's foot. It is very necessary one to attack against the middle part and the upper vital spots of opponent soon after blocking it. This technique is used for attacking the target in the shortest distance. At the time of kick, the height of knee must be leveled with the lower abdomen. This technique is very effective to block the ball of foot and the back heel or knee of the opponent attacking for the lower part. At the time of front block, the blocking tool must be brought to the middle of one's body in any case. The whole body must be kept towards the target. When using this technique, the fingertips must be careful in order not to go out downward. This technique for attacking against the target standing by side on the height of the shoulders requires that the backhand must be level with the shoulders and the elbow must be bended a little when striked. This technique is used for attacking against your opponent standing by the side front. At this moment, the opposite palm must be moved to the tool of the elbow joint. When the technique is used, the blocking tools must move to the target straightly, and the elbow of the reverse knife hand must parallel with the thigh. and the distance between other knife hand and the lower abdomen must be about 3 centimeters. The technique to attack against the two opponents rushing from behind at the same time requires to strike horizontally using 2 arms on the height of the shoulders, crossing the back fist on the height of breast, soon after turning it forward. This technique is used to attack against the neck or face of opponent. The technique for attacking against both temples of opponent at the middle distance requires that the attacking toes is drawn crescent. The toes is the part formed when the underfist pushes the second knuckle of forefinger by use of thumb. This technique is used to attack against the chin or face of opponent. This is an open fist. In order to put strength in using parts, the wrist must be leaned backward and all the joints must be hooked, except for the first joint, and the fingertip must be turned towards the palm.
The instructors are drilling the movements that we learned. That old man has taken the special individual guidance. Well, this time you are lucky. Because he's in the same level of ours, let's watch with him. In accordance with the requirement of the older man, the instructor is explaining that one must set up one's body and be sprung out one's hand when scooping block at the time of the block. Let us practice it along with them. Because this technique requires that you must pull to the left the opponent both hands and feet, kicking at the same time, at a time of knee snap kick, it's said that the hand must attract one's hands. I can know well by the movement what the instructor is explaining. He is talking that the crescent punch is used for attacking the both temple or armpit. Then one can say that we also practice the new learned movement satisfactorily. From this sense, let us look at a pattern that the foot mark on the diagram marked again. Pattern Chungzheng is named after a famous person in the 14th century. The end of this pattern with a left-hand attack is to symbolize the tragedy of his destiny. Let us give the specific seminar on this pattern.
You may break your fingers, so fingers must be bent. If you do like this, it should be broken. Like this. It's wrong. You must do like this. It's wrong. You needn't turn your body in that position. Once you landed your foot, it should look like this. In this case, you must do like this. This is wrong.
이 사람 여기 자 잡았어요. 이런 말 꼼짝 못해 한다. 그러니까 그냥 잡아 있는 것처럼 이렇게 해야 된다구만.
This action is used in this situation.
이러면 안 돼. 그러니까 어깨선이라 한다. 이건 여기 있는 사람 때리는 거야.
It's for this.
야, 잘못하면 다리 부러진 것처럼.
Should you do it wrong, the leg looks as if broken.
이건 왜 그렇게 돼?
Look at me carefully.
이게 똑같은 형식이야.
Look at here. It's wrong. Look at me carefully.
여기. 자, 이렇게. 그렇지.
Okay.
동작.
Then how about finishing today's training? Stop. There is something to show before finishing today's training. Look, the old man also went out of the strike field putting into the gap of instructors fairly. But the result is fear, because one's age can't keep. One, two, three. Very well. Viewers, let us hasten the training to gain a confidence from this. For the justice, peace, and health. Thank you.
이를 내고 불존한 사람들 몇 천만인가.
The instructors of ITF helping our training are doing the sights of the places of scenic beauty and historic remains. This can be called not a train of moral cultivation, but simple sightseeing. Through this fact, I am sure that you can understand that Taekwondo is present generation art of self-defense, cultivating high techniques and elegant spirit. Well, let's learn pattern Choi for second degree holder from these instructors. Pattern Choi means the Choi idea that man is the master of everything and decides everything according to his will. That is to say, man makes nature serve him and decides his own destiny. It has the root of Mount Paektu, the symbol of the Korean people. The diagram of pattern Choi symbolizes Mount Paektu. Then let's look at the new movements of this pattern.
This technique to block attacking from the both sides and front at the same time requires that the backhand must be turned forward and that the distance between the outer forearms is as same as the width of the shoulders. The fist and elbow joint must be at right angle and the whole body must be kept towards the opponent. This technique for blocking the attack from both sides requires that the outer forearms must block forward and the space between the two arms must be extended a little wider than the width of shoulders. At the moment of strike, the attacking tool must be touched to the target, drawing itself a circle. After striking, the elbow must be hooked a little. The hooking kick, the technique to block the attacking towards the middle part by use of side instep, must be practiced with a similar way of hooking block by use of backhand. The blocking tool is side instep. It is used only for blocking. This technique is used to attack against the eyes of opponent. The technique for stopping the opponent's foot attacking towards the scrotum requires that the stretched opposite hand must be brought to the back forearm, blocking the finger belly. This technique to attack against the jaw or philtrum of opponent requires to raise the part of attacking by pushing the opposite palm against the side fist of attacking arm inward. The movement of forearms crossing must be practiced before one's face, and flying turning movements are divided into two kinds: 180-degree turning and 360-degree turning. This is used as the ready stance. Hook the tip of hand and lift to be leveled about 30 centimeters with the forehead, and the head must be put out of the way about 15 degrees. This technique is used to attack against the neck of opponent at the middle distance. The method of movements practice is as the same as high crescent punch. This technique, which is able to use for blocking in special case, requires that the elbow must thrust perpendicularly after lifting it. The back fist must be turned forward. The technique to attack the neck or neck artery of opponent at the same time requires that the palm strikes soon after lifting it forward. The stance is as the same as sitting stance. It means that the heel of front foot and the front tip of rear foot must be in the same linear design. The diagonal stance is used to attack against the front and back or to defense. The technique is one to punch the attacking opponent below. This technique, to protect the size, requires that the underfist must be turned forward and that the two hands must be blocked downward soon after lifting it above the shoulders by use of forearm. This technique is dodging flying reverse turning kick, as it is. The flying two-direction kick is the technique to attack the two targets by other sides at the same time. The movement is the technique to block the pick, shake, kick, and downward kick. It has advantage to take the foot of opponent after blocking. At the moment of block, the two inner forearms must be placed on the height of forehead. This technique is necessary movement to attack against the opponent at a long distance after approaching to the opponent by use of sliding foot. This stance serves as a ready posture for side and back thrusting kicks. Bend the standing leg until the knee forms a vertical line with the toes and bring the other foot on the inner knee of the standing leg. Look at the part which the fists are crossed. At the time of strike, the arm must be stretched out on the height of the shoulders and the side fist must be turned downward. This technique aims to attack against the eyes of opponent in front. At the moment of cross cut, the fingertip must be placed on the height of one's eyes and the arm must be stretched out. The movement to punch 2 times in the state of flying requires that the fore-fist attacks against the solar plexus as the upset punch after punching upward firstly. The technique to break the clavicle of opponent or the target in the height of shoulders requires that the knife hand must be in a B line with the shoulders on its height.
What a refreshing scene of the waterfall. The masters seem to choose this exciting place as training field purposely for us who are to drill movements looking at a screen. Then let's learn new movements actively with gratitude feelings. The masters are emphasizing mistakable points of movement quite vividly. There is no doubt they have refined experience in educational routes. Now, through the diagram, we can see how the individual movements shown so far are being jointed together. In order to scale every movement, not only by side but by body too, we have to practice ceaselessly self-exercises. For the sake of accuracy of movement. Now let's have the seminar on pattern Choi.
이번 좌우에서 오는 걸 막아요. 좌우.
Here, you defend attacks from both right and left sides.
저 사람 일단 서야 돼. 여기 일단 멈춰야 돼요.
Stop.
그다음에 다시
There once and kick the hips.
확 이렇게 돼야 돼. 붕대를 차야 돼. 이렇게 돼야 돼.
For whom like this?
그걸 저 차지.
Who can kick?
안 서는 거예요.
Stand right.
여기 봐요. 두 손을 같이
You
해야
do
돼요.
it with your two hands.
이렇게 돼.
Like this.
그다음 한 손을 한 사람이 있어.
You shouldn't do it with single hand.
그래.
Attack the neck correctly.
완전히 난 말을 못해. 이것도 마찬가지죠. 이래놓은 관계없.
Like this.
말 못해. 생각을 해봐요. 조금 말 못하게 했다고 기억하면 돼.
In generally, downward breaking is to protect the pit of stomach.
또 접근했다고.
This action is to strike back the opponent on his attack on you. Side hitting is to attack this, and side back hitting is this part. Also, it is the same back fist hitting. There are different directions.
가만. 여기서 단번에 해야 되겠네.
You make two actions by one effort before reaching the land.
땅에 떨어지게 이럴 사이가 없다. 자, 이렇게 된다.
To right.
여기는 이런 가운데 아니야.
Not center.
여기.
Here.
자, 주체. 바로.
Today, let's complete our work by viewing Master's group pattern show. Now the masters are exchanging their technical experiences after training. They're having informal gatherings and discussing over the Taekwondo encyclopedia regardless of where and when. This is the common scene of instructors' everyday life. Along with the high skills, we should follow their spirit too. Look. The old man is performing a pattern now. His movements are insufficient, but his level is high for his age. It is a natural result because he learned from the instructors very hard. Everyone, men and women, young and old, can learn Taekwondo if he wants to. The screen gives conviction to us hoping to learn Taekwondo. the training of Taekwondo. Congratulations to your success of the training. Taekwondo, a modern art of self-defense. Our training will go on. Until now, we have learned the basic 15 patterns from Choi to Choi through the video film consisting of 8 parts. In the future, our video film will give you 9 new patterns from which you will see more wonderful aspects of self-defense art. For the sake of justice, self-defense, and good health, our training will be continued. Thank you.
이를 메고 불존한 사람들 몇 천만인가 남녀로서 모두가 어디서나 배우고 있네.
착한 마음 열심히 벌을 닦아 저놈을 얻고 한자를 모조리 징벌하여 정의를 찾네.
어제륙의 연무소는 하나로 있고 평화로운 일사회를 이루어보자. 나는 사랑해 우리의 자랑이